Law's Marketplace. I greet you in Jesus' love and Jesus' joy. I'd like to give an honor to God, who's the author and finisher of our faith, the author of our salvation. I'd also like to thank the veterans and enlisted men and women in the United States military for serving and protecting our country. Today we're going to be interviewing an entrepreneur in the mobile car washing industry, and his name is Alphonso Delaughter. Alphonso, can you tell the audience, as an entrepreneur, a husband, and a parent, when the country was informed that we were in a pandemic, what did you think, and did you think it would affect you and your family?
Well, from the beginning, I didn't realize the depth of this virus and the thing that was going around. And then we didn't know a whole lot about it. So then after we did find out what would be going on and what we needed to do to take care of ourselves, my focus was more on my grandkids, and because as being grown, me and my wife, we can visualize it and see that we need to wash our hands and stay apart and just do the things that the government and everybody was telling us to do. But my grandkids, being as young as they are, my focus and attention was on them. There was a little fear, but and just like right now today, we still, being cautious, keeping an eye on our surroundings.
That's an awesome answer. Because as a father and a husband, you are the leader of your generation, of your family, each generation, and it's always wise to plan ahead, set goals for everyone's safety, and as you visualize what the future holds for each and every one of your grandchildren, I'm every bit sure that as you come up with a plan, they respect you enough to follow it.
Exactly.
Now, on March 29th of 2020, our city went into a stay-at-home order. Did it affect you in any way as far as the industry that you're working?
Partially it did. From the beginning, like I said, from the beginning, people didn't know how to deal with what was coming down. I deal with a lot of car lots, and they shut the doors for a week or so. But then they opened back up, and at that time, we was communicating from the door and not going into the building. Me, for what I do, I work alone, and that's a good thing. I'm not around a whole lot of people other than the dealer itself. I do have sanitizer after I'm finished with the car. I sanitize it, and that way, whatever's happening, if I have anything on me or whatever, when I get a car back to the next person, it is sanitized and it's clean. So
that's a very good practice to put into play.
Yes, sir.
Especially during this pandemic. Could you please explain to the viewers how that impacted your life, family, and you elaborated a few minutes ago about, how it impacts your profession, but, if you could explain to the viewers, how from day to day things may change and how you deal with the change.
Well, for myself, I'm pretty much an outgoing person, and I'm used to being around people and doing things with people. So that was a big change for me. My wife, she's a homebody, and it's a lot easier for her, But other than just having this, not we don't get to visit homes and visit people anymore, and other than church and myself going to work, we're just like everybody else. We're being secluded. You know, we stand close to each other. You know,
That's all.
so that's a change, but we're adapting it. You know, and it's okay.
That's wonderful to know that not only are you following CDC guidelines and other, you know, state and local guidelines.
Yeah.
You know, when you set an example, others see you setting that example, and it's pretty much more easy and likely for them to follow the example.
That's for sure. That's true.
Did the impact of the stay-at-home order challenge your vision or goals to be successful as an entrepreneur? Or were you discouraged? Or did it inspire you to recalibrate?
No, not at all. Really, I didn't change my plans. I didn't change my goals. Like I said, things slowed down a little bit, but you know, I think God's He's got a plan. You know, and I'm, you know, and I'm sure I know that God's in with me with this business, and when just as well as He's saying go, I go, and there's no fear. You know, so.
Because true, God did not give you a spirit of fear, but a power and of love and a sound
Amen.
mind. And that's terrific that you know that God is your source and that He's going to provide and make resources for you.
That's right. That's right.
When the economy began to be challenged with so many different companies not being essential, were any of your clients reluctant to use your services because they were either furloughed from their jobs, or you know, just as a concern about having someone, you know, come to their property during a pandemic?
First-hand experience, not with me. I haven't experienced any change at all. You know, I have had, you know, I do a lot of my business with the dealerships around town. But actually, since the virus has came down, I've had a lot more home visits. You know, I go to them. You know, actually, you know, it's a mobile car wash, so you know they can be at home, and like I said, you know, I'm out when I'm working on their vehicles. I'm out alone, and then when I'm finished, I do try to put that sanitation down. I clean it up real good after I'm finished, and we just hope everything's safe that way.
And that's awesome that you did put that procedure into practice.
That's
You
right.
know, as far as conditioning the vehicle with the sanitizer inside, you know, making sure that your client is always safe as far as, and giving them a quality job.
Amen. That's right.
Now, as the state reopened and you know, begin to have more of your clients, you know, allow you to come out to their homes, and you know, as the car lots were doing things rather differently as well, you know, working with a safer standard. How do you know, what metrics do you use, you know, to measure your vision and the goals that, you know, you have? Are there any signals to you that obstacles are very real? And, you know, what do you use as metrics? Do you use like social media, or is it like more like word of mouth reputation? And then I know with the car lots, they know you by reputation, so
Exactly.
they always, you know, refer you to a competitor.
Exactly.
So, do you use social media?
I do. I have my business cards and different sources on Facebook that's being put out, and a lot of it is by the word of mouth, you know. And I do. I have cards that I have been around to different businesses that have my card out, and that's how I get my word name out there.
If you could prepare your future generations for a pandemic, what would your playbook read to inform them?
About the pandemic
Yeah,
or the
say
business itself?
say as your grandchildren grow up
Uh,
and they've experienced this pandemic, although they probably don't grasp the full impact of it.
right.
If you know, were to leave them some information, as you gather with them at a safe distance,
Yeah.
how would you encourage them? What would you explain that they need to do to be prepared?
Well, just what the government is saying right now to us today, just be cautious and be very careful with yourself. Don't take anything for granted. When you go in, when I go in to clean a vehicle, a lot of times I don't know who had that vehicle before me, and for that fact, I'm washing my hands afterwards. I'm not putting my hands in my face or anything like that. And as soon as I'm finished, I'm cleaning myself up. My message to the person that's going to another person is just to be cautious. Don't take anything for granted. Sometimes you can say, you come up on people and say, well, they look okay, and I'm around them all the time, or I know them. This virus has nothing, no respect for that. So, I have to be cautious and be aware and treat it as such. Not that I'm trying to be unrespectable or anything, but I have to. I'm not hugging and I'm not touching other people. And it's not because I don't want to get close, it's because I want them to be safe just as well as I want.
It's a good perspective to have when it comes to, following all the guidelines that the CDC has placed into action, and also, with state and local regulations that we have to follow. How did you recalibrate within your industry to show yourself as a resilient entrepreneur?
I just never stop. I don't stop. I just keep going. And God says it's okay. And I just go. I'm aware of this. A lot of things that's going on in this world. You look at the news and you every time I turn it on, it's about this virus, and it's about Black Lives Matter, and it's about people not trusting the police officers. There's the presidential bills coming up also. There's a whole lot of things going on that really confuse the mind. Sometimes, and I'll tell you no lie, I'll turn the TV off because I get full of it, and sometimes it does get to me, But in the other case, I want to stay aware of what's going on around me. But I'm trying not to let it get me down because I've seen and hear about people they're getting a little depressed, and depression is coming upon them. And I can see that happening because it gets to me sometimes too, hearing it all the time. And it gets heavy. So, I push away by not listening to some of this news, all of it, all the time. Every time I turn the TV on, I'm hearing it, or either on the radio. So I push away from that, from time to time, to keep myself safe, keep my mind clear of things, and I trust God, and I believe in what He said. God says we're going to go through, and this is the thing that's happening right now. We are going through, and I trust God, and with Him, I'll be okay.
Because when you speak about, being informed, there are times you can be too informed. So it is good to take a step back, get your mindset at ease. As you say, continue to trust that God will navigate your way for you, your business, and your family. That's a great answer. Somebody is stuck because none of us expected a pandemic to creep into our lives, economy, or family. What would you say to them to get them back in the game?
Wow. Yeah. Trust God. Go back to your roots. Go lean on what you know. Uh, I don't know if it's appropriate to say right now, but it's appropriate. Me and my wife is reading Jeremiah, and through this whole deal, I'm understanding that these people, we get settled in our ways and the things that we're doing, and God, God was punishing these people of Judah and Jerusalem. He's punishing because of the disrespect and the disobedience that they was doing, and the reason they couldn't get back on their feet is because they wouldn't trust. They wouldn't trust, and they knew God, and the Bible tells us to lean on what you know, okay, what you've been taught, and what's been working. I just put it this way: what's been working for me. I've been in the world. I'm 63 years old, and there's a lot of things. I've been through a lot of things in my life. When I had God in my life, things have been a lot easier and a lot better for myself. And don't get me wrong. There's been times that I've been hard headed, and I don't stick to that fact of what I know that will take me through. So my thing is, what what I tell people is that I know that God will bring me through. So we have to, as a people, have to stick to that. Okay, and
Great.
just because things are changing, don't mean that we have to change. you know. Uh,
Great answer.
yeah.
It's like when a young man or a young woman enlist into the military, they teach them certain procedures, policies, and train them how to use weaponry and everything. So in other words, trust your training. Huh?
Amen.
Good.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say.
Now, if there was a young man or a young woman, a man or a woman, whether young or older, and they wanted to, get into the mobile detail industry, how did you start out? Did you have your own skin to buy your equipment? Did you have to go to a financial institution to borrow money, or did you have to go to family members to get started?
Now, actually, me and my wife, we came in together, and we had this vision, and we took our time and saved what we needed to save to get started. The businesses, I have a lot more equipment. From the beginning, I was winging it, and now I got drills and shampoo machines and buffers and from the beginning it was all by hand, but as it goes, it gradually got better. But yes, we put all our hours in and our money in, and by the grace of God, He blessed us, and the business has built to where we can make it a lot easier. I started this 3 years ago, and trust me, it's a lot better and a lot easier than what it was at that time.
So you wasn't looking for overnight success. You were looking to put your work in.
Exactly.
When you boss up and put your work in, then it's always easier to see yourself going the long haul instead of, expecting immediate gratification from the business.
That's true.
That's great.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, if I could ask you this question, when you 3 years ago stopped working a 9 to 5 and said you were going to be an entrepreneur, were there any doubts at any time?
It wasn't. For some reason, like I said, that's one of the reasons I know that God's in this with me. And I trust God because there was no doubt, and I know that it didn't just happen. That I started out. I had one car lot that I was doing lot cleans with, and it's a lot. I do like 4 now, But it gradually came, and I didn't get discouraged. I prayed about it. We prayed about things, you know, and God built it up, and no, it wasn't what I wanted from the beginning, but I knew what it could be, and I kept my eyes on the ball, and it's going to get better. It's going to be more.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, as we come to a close, is there anyone you'd like to say hello to? A family member.
I just want to give all thanks and honor to my wife. My wife to God, but my wife being on my side and being with me. She makes things a whole lot easier for me. And I am so grateful to be a part of her life. Also,
May we ask what your wife's name is?
her name's Wanda.
All right, thank you.
Wanda Floyd Delaughter.
Praise God. All right, now, as we come to a close, we want to thank you for your time, and we hope that someone was inspired by this video, and if you desire to start a mobile detailing business, it can be done. Once again, I want to give an honor to God, who is the author and finisher of our faith. I want to thank the veterans and enlisted men and women in the United States military for serving and protecting our country. And once again, this is Mall's Marketplace. I'm your host, Andre Harris. We thank Alphonso Delaughter for sharing his story, how he became an entrepreneur. We thank